Hello. I've died since the last time I made a recording, so I've had to start over, but that's given me an opportunity to start a new project. Thought I'd show you what that is real quick before I show it to you. I just want to show you something that I do in a lot of games early on, and that's build a raft. There's not much to it, it's just kind of a barge, and there's only a limited number of pieces that you can use to make a raft, and that's one of the reasons I go for the barge. But I set up the basics required for getting started. I get a smithing forge and table and feeding trough and food preservation and place to put blueprints that I find, and then I've got storage for all the materials I gather. And often I'll set up a bunch of campfires like this so that I can cook meat very quickly if I need to. Also, when you're running around in the frozen north like this, having a lot of campfires around can be helpful. So, onto my project. The current project is an aqueduct, or in other words, a building that I'm making to protect the pipes that I want to use to run water up to where I want to build my base in this game. In this game, I'm looking at building a base near White Sky Peak. That's this frozen mountain over here with this colossal technological shiny blue thing coming out of it. But just past those trees over there is where I'm looking to build my base. I've made a mark just to give you an idea of how far I've got to build this aqueduct. We'll go take a peek. That mark right down there, you can maybe just make out the little bit of a torch I have in the middle of those foundations. But that's about where I'm going to build the base. That'll probably be pretty close to the edge that's closest to the mountain, and it'll spread away from the mountain in the sort of relatively flat area that is right where that marker is. I won't have to do too much crazy stuff to be able to build a building there. I will have to do stuff like this though, where you can see these pillars, these supports, because it's not flat. We won't be able to use regular foundations. But this is what the beginning of the aqueduct looks like. First, we lay down some pillars, and then we lay down some ceiling tiles and some stairways converted to ramps. And I'm going to be actually tidying this up a little bit. There's a couple of errors in the build over here. But over here where I've actually got the building coming together, it's basically the way it needs to be. So you can see it's just a bunch of pillars with kind of some boxes on top. It's not pretty, but it's still functional. And then we run this water pipe through. I'd like to make this building a little shorter, but if I don't, then I tend to hit my head on the ceiling when I come down the stairs, so I have to give a whole bunch of extra room. More than really should be needed, but it's just sometimes these pieces don't block together perfectly. Like you can see that ceiling tile there is a little bit lower than the one in front of it, and if that happens to happen over a stairway, I bonk my head and I can't get through, which is no good. So we're gonna have to do twice as much work probably to get this building built, because it's going to be twice as tall as it really ought to need to be. But here we are at the other end of the aqueduct. You can see, and and I have a hatchway down here that goes to where the water intake is, so this series of pipes will pull that water up, and as long as I keep connecting new pipes to it, like I have done, it'll keep bringing that water until I get all the way up the slope to that base location. Now, I spent a lot of time trying to measure the angle that I should come up this slope so that it would come out real near that building marker that I stuck up in the trees on that slope. And when the project gets closer to completion, we'll see how well I aimed. I probably spent an hour or more just trying to get that part down right. So it's really difficult to draw a straight line over all these bumpy hills and trees and so on. But that's it for now. Me and my base building dinos salute you until the next time. Have a good one. Bye now.